How is everyone doing? Welcome back to another live stream on the channel. Today, we're going to be going over the crypto market. I'm going to be providing you with an update on this market because a lot is happening. We're getting a bit of a bounce. Most altcoins across the board are up this week after having major crashes. We're finally getting some form of a bounce. And the question is this a dead cat bounce or is this genuinely a genuine move to all-time highs on Bitcoin, right? And that's the question which I've been asking people on some of my live streams. For some reason, my camera keeps changing. It's super annoying. Yeah, I've been asking people on my live streams about this and been asking people on my videos and some of the Discord voice chats I've had. I've just been trying to get people's thoughts on this market. Is this like some form of dead cat bounce, or is this genuinely a move that we've not seen before in crypto to a brand new all-time high? And what you can see right now is Bitcoin is at $92,000, and we're trying to make a move to, in my opinion, the 50-week moving average. That is the price that Bitcoin, in my view, is on its track to, which is around $102,000. And my base case is that we should actually reject if we hit that 50-week moving average, which right now is at 102K. We know how important the 50-week moving average is for Bitcoin. Every single time we have hit it this bull market, we've held it and we've gotten a bounce up until just a couple of weeks ago when we actually lost it. And it was that loss of the 50-week moving average which brought us down to around $80,000 on BTC. Now we're getting a bit of a bounce. We're trying to make a move to the upside. We're at 92.5K. And it would seem to me like the base case right now is a move up to that 50-week moving average and most likely a rejection, because if you look historically speaking, when you hit the 50-week moving average, usually you get a bounce, but once you lose it, then it's gone most of the time, and it takes a long time to get back above it. We don't usually see two consecutive closes below it, only to then just surpass it straight away. Usually once you lose it, that's a sustained downtrend, and you're coming down to retest that 200-week moving average, which right now is sat around $55,000 on Bitcoin. So I can only assume that the macro move at some point is for Bitcoin to come down to that 200 moving average. Whether it takes a month to do that, whether it takes 6 months to do that, that doesn't really matter. But the reality is the most likely move on Bitcoin is a move down to that 200-week moving average since we lost the 50. Now, obviously, if we surpass the 50 with an impulsive move and volume, then I probably change my thesis, right? That is where I say, okay, history isn't repeating. This time is genuinely different, and maybe we are having a bit of an extended cycle here, and we're going to have continuation to the upside. But I can only assume as a base case scenario that Bitcoin here is on track to that 50-week and that it will lose it. And if you look historically speaking, that exact same thing has happened many, many times. You can see last bull market, we lost the 50-week moving average on a weekly close. We then came down actually to the 100 moving average. Let me just add that on. I'm having to prop my camera up, by the way, because every time I let go of it, it just completely collapses. But we're going to add on the 100 moving average here. And what you can see is typically we hold the 100 as support. That is your faint blue line here. You hold the 100 as support there or thereabouts, and then you get a move up to your 50-week, and that is a complacency shoulder. That is a rejection point, and then you come down to that 200. We've seen that play out multiple times. It also has played out in the past. Whenever you lose the 50, your next point of contact is going to be your 200. And the time scale is something that everyone wants to know, like how long is this move going to take to play out? Like I said, it could play out very quickly, or it could be a very dragged out move, kind of like what happened in 2022. My hope is that it plays out very quickly. We get that move up to the 50, we get that complacency shoulder, then we get that lower low and a move down to the 200 week, and then we can get a bounce and finally go into more of a prolonged upward price action movement. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. But obviously, I am willing to hear out all arguments, all sides of the aisle. And look, there is a chance this time is different. And for whatever reason, this time the 50 week doesn't act as much of a significant level as what it has in the past. And maybe this time is different and we break above it and that just gets invalidated. But I'm a probabilities guy. I like to go with what has typically worked in the past. And based off probabilities, you've got to assume that that is the move playing out right now with the crypto market. One of the things to me which is looking good right now is the total market cap chart. That is still on support. So in terms of altcoins, it's not looking necessarily fully bearish because total market cap includes altcoins as well as Bitcoin. We are actually hitting support here and getting a bounce. So that's not looking too bad. But as I said, it all kind of depends for me how Bitcoin reacts with this 50. If we get a textbook style rejection, you got to assume that the bear market is pending and we're seeing more of a macro downward continuation. So guys, we've got a special guest coming on the stream a little bit later. I'm going to be bringing him on in a few minutes. So definitely stay tuned for that. We've got a great guest coming on. You guys can see this little indicator I've got at the bottom of my screen, the prime oscillator. You see I use these types of indicators a lot on this channel. And we're actually bringing on basically the guy behind these indicators, the main guy behind Chart Prime, we're going to be bringing on. So that's going to be an absolute pleasure to do. And we got some questions for him regarding the indicators and regarding how you could potentially make a lot of money in the bear market if we do have one, right? And by the looks of it, to me, we are on track for a bear market, even though we're getting a bit of a rally here. I wouldn't let that necessarily fool you. We always see complacency shoulders. We always see dead cat bounces, and it is literally a trap. They do it purposely to try and get you to think, right, the bull market's back on, and then everyone piles into positions, and then you basically act as exit liquidity for those sellers. So that's just something we've got to take a lot of precautionary measures around, and that's why I'm really encouraging people here to be just cautious about the risks in this market. And not be naive if you are currently heavily invested in the crypto market right now, because there have been structural damage to Bitcoin. Not only did Bitcoin lose the 50-week moving average, it also lost many other levels, right? Many other levels. It wasn't just the 50-week moving average. We also lost a macro golden pocket. If we go from this low down here up to this high, we actually lost a macro golden pocket. And right now, we're actually trying to get back above that. That's what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to get back above the golden pocket, which we lost. And yeah, that could be another point of rejection on Bitcoin as well. So I'm personally treating this as, like I said, a complacency shoulder, a dead cat bounce, a sucker rally, whatever you want to call it. But I am open to the idea that I might be wrong and history might play out differently this time. And if that does happen, then I'll adjust my strategy and I'll adapt, and I'm not going to be stubborn, because being stubborn when the data is changing is what gets people wrecked in cryptocurrency. So let me know your opinions in the chat. Like I said, I'm going to be bringing on a special guest very shortly. So I'm looking forward to that. But let's see if we got any questions in the chat before we do so. Hey, Archie, appreciate you as always being brutally honest through the good and the bad. Do you intend to buy back into alts? So I appreciate the kind comment. I've got a very simple strategy in this market right now, and I'm going to explain it crystal clear so that everyone understands it. If Bitcoin hits the 200-week moving average, I buy. If Bitcoin loses the 50-week moving average, I sell. I get out of positions, and I have a cautious viewpoint on this market, including altcoins, because at the end of the day, altcoins just follow Bitcoin. And essentially, my strategy would be to just trade the market. Anywhere in this bit of price action here, this gap between these two macro moving averages, it's all noise for me. That's all a trader's market in this period. The spot market is when you're above the 50-week, and it's been amazing. I was buying Bitcoin and alts down here, and I was going really heavy after we broke above the 50-week moving average into altcoins. And, we've been above it since February 2023. It's been great. But now we're below it. I've got to exercise caution. And like I've said before, I have made money this bull market. I know a lot of people who maybe joined late, they're down on their portfolios, they're down on the positions, but I have made money this bull market, so I have to protect my capital. And like I said, if things change and we get that massive breakout move to the upside with volume, by the way, it can't just be like a fake out move, a manipulated move. It has to be with volume. It has to be impulsive. If we get that, then I'm happy to jump back into some positions. But it's a big if. And if we don't get that, the risks are huge. And all of what investing in crypto is risk reward. It all comes down to risk reward. It's about having favorable risk to reward ratios. And as I said, the risk of Bitcoin coming down for that macro move to the 200-week moving average for me is large. And that is why I'm exercising caution, despite the fact we're getting a bit of a rally right now. And you can still make money. Even if you're in stables, I'm making money right now on certain trades. Now, not every trade will go my way, but I will take advantage of some trade opportunities during these dead cat bounces or whatever you want to call them. But across the board, it's looking much more positive. But we've got to remember, guys, Bitcoin's at 92K. I actually sold my portfolio. The final pieces I had around 94 to 96K. So we're still lower than the point in which I sold. So everyone's coming onto YouTube saying, you sold your portfolio, you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. We're still lower, guys, than when I sold. If I wanted, I could buy back in right now and I'd still be buying in cheaper than the point I sold. So let's not get things twisted here. But yeah, everyone should do whatever they want to do. And, no one's compelled to copy anyone. You should all make your own decisions in this market based off your own intrinsic views and analysis. If anyone is still holding altcoins and not just scalping them at this point, you have a lot to still learn. I agree about charting. I agree. This is a scalper or swing traders market rather than a spot bag buy and hold market after losing the 50-week moving average on Bitcoin, because the risks are huge after losing that. So smash the likes on the stream, guys. Appreciate all of you being in. We're going to bring in our special guest. We're going to bring in Alex. How is it going, Alex?
Not too bad, man. I'm surviving, dude. This market's pretty crazy, but I'm making do. That's a solid analysis, though. I do have a kind of a bearish macro outlook myself.
Right. I mean, you've been in crypto a while, right? How many years have you been following this market?
Since 2017 when I got kicked in the shorts, man. I bought the top, and then ever since that was kind of how Chart Prime was born. So
absolutely. So for those of you who don't know, Alex is the guy behind Chart Prime, and they are the best indicator company out there, in my opinion. I've used the indicators for years now. I think it's been multiple years. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, why don't you introduce yourself, introduce Chart Prime to those who aren't familiar?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll share my screen here a little bit. Let's see. All right. Share. Okay. So, we are essentially at our core, we are an indicator company. About 4 years ago, when I got wrecked in the bull market, I decided to really kind of buckle down. I had some trading strategies, but I really wasn't implementing any at that point. I was just like buy and hold, and I realized that, buying and holding is powerful, but knowing when to buy and when to hold and when to sell is even more powerful. So that's where Chart Prime was basically, that's when it was conceived. And what it is an overlay on TradingView, a charting platform, the one that you see Archie use all the time. And it basically tells you when to buy and sell. It's a very simple overlay. If you're an expert at trading, this can help you with tons of confluence points. Or if you're just kind of a beginner, something like this, buy right here, right? Very simple buy signal, right? That we have two main indicators that I like to use, right? One is called the Oracle, and this is going to give you what I call the dynamic reactor. And you can see how deadly this thing has been, right? We've just made a little update here, but this thing called the bear market. You can see it red right here. You can see it green calling the bull market right here. And it even has these little signals, these green diamonds and the red diamonds as well. You can see these green diamonds just calling huge bull runs, right? And we got a red diamond, right? So that means, I don't know, the indicators are pointing. I think they're confirming what Archie is saying, that we're heading down much lower. I do agree that this is a dead cat bounce. And you can see also, and Archie was talking about the 50, but this is also very powerful too. The quantum reactor acts like a moving average. It's our own custom moving average. And we call it the reactor is because you get huge reactions when price gets close to it. So I could see us getting as far as, even 98K, somewhere around there, before we get a rejection right into this quantum reactor. Now, this oscillator is just as powerful, right? You can see these little reversal signals right here. If you would have just done, kind of like a swing trade on each one of these, man, with some leverage, you would have been sitting pretty, okay? Now, there's a lot more complexities to these indicators. If you want to use confluence, you use one indicator with the other. Or if you just want to have kind of like a simple, like bull market, kind of bearish, bullish sentiment detection, this can do that for you as well, right? I'm just scratching the surface, guys, but this is so essential. I literally am blind when I don't use Chart Prime anymore, when I'm on the charts, right? So yeah, those are our indicators. Black Friday, actually, we're having a special right now, and you can get these indicators for life. And there's another little piece of the puzzle that I haven't been talking about that I want to introduce everyone to that I'm really, really excited about, which is Prime Automation. So Prime Automation is essentially an automation platform, okay? And all these little squares right here are bots, okay? And you can see how these bots have been doing. This one's made $1,000. This one's made $175. Each one of these bots have their own strategy, and they're based on Chart Prime indicators. So they use Chart Prime indicators to know when to buy and to sell. And essentially, all you need to do is connect your exchange. Blowfin is the exchange that we work with. You just need to make sure you have Archie's affiliate link and you can use the platform, right? And this thing just trades for you. You just sit back and let it do the work, okay? So you can see over the past 90 days on this account, this is how it's been doing. We're up roughly $15,000 on this account. Here's another account over here. Let's see. This one is actually, I asked an employee to lend me his account. I've been testing, so I have a lot of test accounts. I wanted to show you guys live accounts, but these are all live trades right now, okay? He's up on Cake. He's up on SHIB, Arrow, Doge. He's down a little bit on Crow. But these things are live. This thing is trading live, okay? This is the real deal. And we also have AI bots, right? Which actually adapt to the market. So, if there's a news event or sentiment change, it's going along with the market, which is really crazy. So I know I've said a lot, Archie. Do you have any questions for me, or do you think there's anything that I'm missing?
Yeah. So if I was interested in getting set up on the Prime automation, right, which is for like basically just set it and forget it trading. Because most people have day jobs, most people have businesses to run. They don't have the time to be a full-time trader. How could I get set up? Like, let's say I wanted to set it up straight away. What are the steps for me to actually to get set up with that?
Absolutely. So if you go to chartprime.com, just go to our website through Archie's link. If you don't go through Archie's link, then you won't be getting exclusive strategies, exclusive indicators, all these kind of perks with being in Archie's community. So you want to make sure you use his link. And then once you get in, you're going to get to this site right here. And then these are all the deals. So essentially you get chart prime indicators for life, no more recurring payments. I think it's a chart prime's like $117 a month. You pay once, you get it for life. And then also you get prime automation. Depending on the package, you can get up to 1 year for free. Prime automation is, it's a little bit more expensive than chart prime, but with this bundle, it's very cheap. It's like, it comes out to like $50 a month. So you also get a ton of different perks as well. You get a back tester, you get all these different things. And if you use Archie's link, you're going to be getting exclusive strategies that I'll be working with Archie to make, along with his exclusive indicators, all these other cool things as well. So use Archie's link, get to our site, get the lifetime indicators. You won't need to pay again, and then you won't need to worry about paying for chart prime or for prime automation for another year. Trust me, in about a month, you'll probably pay for about half of what you paid for prime automation just by automating, right? So it is definitely worth it, especially if you guys don't want to be up at 2 or 3 a.m. or you don't want to have to be watching the phone while you're at work. This just finds the setups, trades for you, and you're golden. So you can see all these strategies right here, right? You can see how they're doing. So so these are all the strategies that we have. You just kind of filter through them, and you see, you can go like, let's see here, let's find one.
I mean, it makes sense because I trade, a lot of my swing trades, a lot of the cryptos I've bought in the past. I've gotten such good entries. Sometimes people ask me, what are the secrets? Part of it is because of the indicators I use.
Yeah.
So if you can have a trading system using these indicators overnight while you're sleeping, I mean, it to me, it seems like a no-brainer. I might just put in a huge chunk of my portfolio into this and just let it build up capital overnight, essentially, while I'm sleeping.
Exactly. So you can see this strategy right here. This is when we actually launched it, right? So we're showing you the actual data. This isn't just back test data, right? This is when we actually launched the strategy. And if you were copying the strategy right now, these are all the gains that you would have made, right? You can go into any one of these strategies and see how they've been doing since the inception of the strategy, since we've actually posted it. So we're very transparent. Let's see how this AVAX strategy has been doing. See, we posted it right here. We had a little dip right away, and then it went off to the races right here. This is when we posted it, right? Some strategies don't do well, but then you cut those strategies and you stick with the winners, right?
What would make one be a good, like, what would make one strategy be like a good one to stick to versus another? Is it kind of just pot luck, or would you say certain cryptos you find maybe it works better with Bitcoin than a meme coin, or how do you determine which cryptos you should actually use with the strategy?
I like to see it as sort of like an ETF almost, right? So you're going to want to stick with, I usually like to have one of these AI strategies. These are typically a little bit more higher leverage, but they're more consistent.
Okay.
And then I usually pick a few coins, maybe 5 or 6 that are in like the top 20, right? Those are going to be a little less volatile, right? Those are going to keep your portfolio stable. And then a few that are just kind of, maybe like a fart coin or something like that. That's going to be, you're allocating a lot less to your strategy, right? And if you click subscribe here, I can show you how it works. You basically go in, I have Blowfin connected already. and you just kind of pick either a fixed dollar amount. I like to go with the account balance percentage. That way it just trades with a percent of your available balance every trade, right? So you can just say, okay, starting off, I just want to do like 3% of my futures balance. And then as it starts to build up a little bit of a cushion, then you can start increasing your position size. So that is essentially how it works. It's very user friendly, guys. All you got to do is, the complicated thing is connecting your exchange. And once you connect the exchange, then it's just basically you point click. How much do I want to trade with in the bot? You set it up and it's ready to go. So
great. And if anyone has any issues setting things up, or they're maybe not too tech savvy, is the Discord, the Chart Prime Discord, maybe a good place to
Chart Prime? We don't have them set together, but there's this little chat box right here. The support are very active. We have about 10 to 15, depending on the time of day, support agents ready to help you through any questions or concerns that you have. Now, one thing I will mention is we have a limited server capacity size. So we are going to be stopping in accepting invites for, soon. We still have some room, but there's only so much room on our server before we're going to have to upgrade. So if you guys want in, I would get in now or within the next few days, especially to take advantage of this, the Black Friday offer, and just kind of get your spot in line also. Great. Even if it's just signing up, and you're in the door, you didn't pay for it or whatever, that's good enough for now. But yeah,
that's
where we're at.
So I wanted to also ask a little bit more about the indicators themselves.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to the Chart Prime indicators, people have seen I use the oscillator all the time. The overbought, oversold signals are so good. Just even for Bitcoin, right? You don't even need to use them as a day trader. Sometimes just you're looking at Bitcoin, you're determining, is this a good time to DCA into my long-term Bitcoin stack? You can see if we're overbought, oversold, and generally they're very accurate. Sometimes to the day, if it flashes overbought, you probably don't want to be buying. So I'm going to ask you, out of the indicators that Chart Prime offers, what would you say are the main indicators that people must use, right? Because there's a lot of different indicators. You don't want to overkill it sometimes. What would you say are the must use indicators that everyone should have on their TradingView application?
So I would say for me personally, it's the Oracle and the Prime Oscillator Pro Plus. Okay. Now those are toolkits, all right, which have tons of features within them. So those two are going to be my go-tos. The Market Dynamics Pro is for a little bit more advanced, right? That's giving you support and resistance, patterns, stuff like that. So if you're a little more advanced with trading, I definitely use that as well. But a very just quick reference to see how the market's doing and where it's going, I always use the Oracle Plus and the Prime Oscillators Pro Plus. Now, within the Oracle Plus, I always use the Dynamic Reactor and the Quantum Reactor. I use both of these because they both provide very good levels, and they also really good gauge of whether the market is bearish or bullish, right? As you can see, we even had a cross right here, and we had a huge bull run. Now they're about to cross again, right? So, So those are the two things: Dynamic Reactor, the Quantum Reactor. These things are proprietary. They're not just a standard moving average. These things have complex algorithms behind them that know when the market's bullish and bearish and follow the price in a very certain way. Now we have also what I really like, which is not, it's a little more complex than you think. It's not just a candlestick pattern, right? Because it's not like a bullish hammer or an engulfing pattern or something like this. This thing we use for really big confluence. You can see this thing, it called the bottom right here. It's calling these kind of local tops right here, really strong points of confluence, to kind of use as reversal signals and stuff like that. So I like to use those as well. And I love the VWAP. I don't know if you're into VWAPs or not, Archie, but VWAPs are amazing. And this VWAP, I would say, is a very good gauge of where you can see the market heading, right? I don't see it going below that VWAP, but we're sitting around 44, 46K. And you can see these VWAPs also have reversal signals within them, which are very deadly as well, right? Huge bull run after those reversal signals. So chart looks a little cluttered right now, but those are what I like to use. You can use whatever you want. I would say bare minimum, always have the quantum reactor on, always have the dynamic reactor on, and have your oscillator on, because this thing also is a very good indication of whether the market is bullish or bearish. It gives you signals, very easy to understand signals as well.
Great. So let's just get your take on the market using some of these signals. So you mentioned that you're kind of getting some sell signals on the macro picture.
Yeah.
Would you say these are pretty high probability signals that we're going to be seeing a bit more pain in the market before a new high?
Yeah. Before a new high, definitely. I see a retracement, probably up to around 99, up to the dynamic reactor, at the very most.
Mm-hmm.
And then a strong rejection, and then it's lights out, right? Then I think it's just kind of a slow grind all the way down to this VWAP is probably going to be traveling up a little bit before it gets there. So anywhere from 45 to 50K, I think, is going to be the bottom for this bear market, based on the indicators. So
that's super interesting, because what I'm looking at is the 200 moving average on Bitcoin. I mentioned that earlier.
yeah.
And if we look at the fibs as well, assuming this is the top, you got a
Yeah.
macro golden pocket around
There you
the
go.
54 to 57K region. So
Yeah.
those indicators that you're looking at, they're telling me a similar thing that I'm looking at as well, but with even more precision.
Right.
So I think you're probably spot on there with that analysis. Yeah, so what would chart prime flash when we're getting a bottom, when we're expecting the market bottom? Is there going to be some sort of blue tick, like blue circle on one of the oscillators, or is it going to flash like a mega overbought signal? Or how would someone know that the market is maybe bottomed out and we're going to be heading up?
Yeah, I mean, I like to see, typically, let's see if I can get it on here. I like to see divergence. Let's see.
Right.
As you can see right here, we have divergences like right here, this thing right here, and this little blue dot right here. Whew, big push up. This little blue dot right here, huge push up. So I am going to be on the weekly, I'm going to be looking for a blue dot.
Right.
Just because we hit this, we're oversold right now, could mean we're losing some sell pressure right here on the weekly. Like I said, maybe a little pump up to the quantum reactor. But then, based off of this, also, we are getting this money flow. I'm trying to keep it simple, but this money flow also is kind of really easy to read. You can see we were really bearish this whole time, this money flow.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as we hit the green right here, that's when we were off to the races, right? So there's kind of a combination of things, but I really like to see on the weekly, especially, a blue dot. And if we can pair it up with some other reversal signals, even better. But yeah, the blue dot is for me a bottom signal, on the market.
Bro, you said you're out. Someone said in the chat, yes, I am in stables right now, and I'm just trading this market until we hit either the 200 week or we have an impulsive move up. I'm holding off. But I wanted to finally ask as well, if someone wants to learn more, they've heard a little bit from this live stream and they're intrigued and they want to research the indicators more, where could they go to see videos or explanations on some of these indicators?
Absolutely. So we have our YouTube channel.
Right.
Kind of do just
Chart
like,
Prime on YouTube.
yeah, Chart Prime. Just go to our YouTube channel, Chart Prime, and we got in our playlists, you can find all sorts of playlists and stuff like that. You can also go to docs.chartprime.com, and this will show basically all of the documentation, everything that you need to know. Yeah, for Prime automation, it's similar. If you go to the resources, you go to tutorials. This is basically kind of like AI incorporated. Any questions you have, you just ask it, and it's all set up. It has all videos, tutorials, and everything. So
great. Amazing. So if anyone is interested in those specific indicators, the reason I brought this to you today is because of the Black Friday sale they're doing. Make sure to use my link down below. That link is going to allow you to get set up potentially with the automation if that's the option you go for. Or if you just go for the regular indicators as well, that link is going to give you an added discount. So make sure to use that specific link down in the description. But yeah, man, appreciate you coming on and sharing some of these insightful indicators. And maybe we'll have you on again sometime in the future.
All right. Cheers, man.
Appreciate having you on.
Yeah, been a pleasure. Yeah, stay safe out there. Always use a stop loss, bro.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Alex.
All right. Bye now.
So, guys, appreciate all of you tuning in to today's live stream. Definitely check out Chart Prime, link down below. That is, that is the indicator that I'm using, or those are the indicators rather that I'm using on a day-to-day basis. You always see me right with this little thing at the bottom of my screen, the market oscillator. And this for me is a go-to indicator. I've always got it right at the bottom of the screen there, and it's super insightful. It flashed overbought here. On the daily, we got a sell signal literally on the day, I think, of the top for Bitcoin. We literally got a sell signal there. Let me just double check. Yeah, there we go. Reversal signal. Or was that the day of or the day before the top? We got a reversal signal. And that was one of the things that led me to believe that Bitcoin might be topping out there at 126K. So definitely go ahead and use them. I gave a market summary at the beginning of the stream, so make sure to go and listen to that if you're just joining into the stream now. I also wanted to mention the huge sale on my membership, the VIP membership. Black Friday sale is expiring today, as it is Black Friday. So the prices will be going up straight after this expires. So if you are interested in the most active Discord group out there and you're interested in my personal trade signals and all of that, then get yourself over to the VIP group. So Bitcoin for me is kind of trading in a bit of a no man's land when we look at it on the weekly. We're below the 50 week, but we're above the 200 week. And until I see it interact with one of those two major moving averages, I've got to on the side of caution, because it is essentially a no man's land price action range for me. And there's an awful lot of potential chop you can have in this range, which I don't really like as we just disconnected there. We're back. Internet nowadays. For some reason, my internet speed's been getting worse. It used to be really fast when I moved into this place, and it seems to be getting worse somehow. I don't know how that's possible. But yeah, like to essentially summarize, we are in a no man's land range for Bitcoin until we interact with one of these massive moving averages, either the 200, in which is a great buy the dip opportunity, or we get back above the 50, in which case you're back full swing into a bull run if you get a confirmed close above that. Guys, I appreciate all of you tuning into today's stream. Make sure you have a great Friday and a great weekend.